So a couple things that are missing on this whole spare tire rack rebuild. A third brake light that would have been, well, you can see the white space there. It was there, is blocked by the spare tire now, so I've got to relocate it to here. That's this in my hand here. Can't use the same one I had before because it is too long and doesn't fit, and I'm not leaving something hanging outside of the protection of this steel tube just to get smashed. So I ordered one here that'll fit inside it. I like having the third brake light a little bit lower like this versus the one that's in the factory up there, because that's more about the level of eyes for your average Honda or Toyota. So this little one will go in, and this will give both marker and brake light. As part of this escapade, I'm doing a little bit of upgrading, replacing. I had these strips of just white LED. They're your flexible strips. You see them all over the place, nice and useful. I had those up on the wheel wells. They were great for inspecting things inside the wheel well, but they didn't throw much light out onto the ground. So I'm going to upgrade to this type of more traditional rock light up into the wheel well. Hopefully give me a lot more light out onto the ground so I can see what my wheels and tires are doing. I've already got some of those under the truck. I've got 2 on each step. Got 1 up front. Got 1 back here. I need to rewire that one too as well, because I want that to change where it's at. So I'm going to have to do that too. Because right now the ones under there are hooked into the reverse lights, but I want them actually on the rock lights now, because they're not really doing what I wanted them to do for the reverse. So pretty simple. They come with, that's the only downfall with this simple cheap ones I got off Amazon. They're aluminum wire, but it'll work. It'll solder in just like I need it to. And this one looks like it was having a hard time anyway. And there's the, the crimp and heat shrink style ones. You see right there. It seemed to have been doing okay on that side. Only slightest hint of corrosion in there. But either way, these are going to get repurposed to be the downlights for my license plate. Now I don't know about your state, but in Utah the state troopers will absolutely pull you over for not having a lit up license plate. And so I'm going to be using some of these strips here. This is straight up white, so it's going to go up inside there, and that's going to give me my downlight. And you can see I planned that from the beginning. That's why I have this shield here built into it, so that it only goes down and it doesn't beam somebody in the eye from the rear. cut out the nutserts that I had put in there and flipped them around, because I noticed when I tried the tire, if they stick out, the tire sits right about there. You can kind of see that right there. There's a line there, there's a line there. So I can't have anything protruding out there, because the tire does sit pretty close to this. But that actually works better with it flipped around. But that actually works better because you see how the nutsert actually sits out proud just a little bit on this side. That way I've got plenty of nuts to grab, and it also gives it a washer effect on this side, so it pulls whether or not the nutsert's going to be there or not. But the profile of these lights, you see that step it's got from the outside there. I'm guessing these were meant to be recessed into your trailer or something, your truck bed, wherever you're putting them. But that turned out to work better. That'll keep it from rubbing on the tire. And it sits in there with the profile there pretty neatly. Notice I touched up everything where I've got bare steel with the touch-up paint, trying to keep rust at bay as much as I can. Should be alright. You see back there the detail of the slot I made because of how these come out. They have kind of a slot, not just a 3-position, and it's where they're at on the circuit board. So the blue wire comes out here, the red and black come here. Black is ground, red is brake, blue is marker. Nice little lights if you want a lower profile one than the 15-16 inch ones that I did, I do have there and I did have over there. But this will do the trick. Fits inside there, it should be protected, and it's got a good amount of lip between the bar and everything else, so it should work neatly. But those nutserts, yeah, I love them. All kinds of good things you can do with those things. It was a pain in the butt snaking all these wires in. The other thing to note, I did absolutely use rubber grommets in here to keep the wire a little better protected. Now I need to loom everything up. Alright, there it is. Now I'm legal. I've got a lit license plate. Boy, it bothers me how crooked that is. I'll fix that when I get a new license plate. I've got a third brake light that is more like at the level of your average low-car driver versus the one that's way up there. That's semi-truck driver. There we go. Do it again, Isaac. Yep, so he's hitting the brakes. Take him off the brakes. On the brakes. Off the brakes. On the brakes. Off the brakes. Okay. So yeah, you see it gives me the brake light function, gives me the marker light function. It's not the little 3 lights that the other one was, which I kind of liked, but this will work. And one of the things that's amazing to me is how it's pretty close to being in line between the, if anything it might, inch, maybe half an inch high, but it's pretty close to being in line. So it gives me the look I want. It actually gives me that good profile in the rear. So if you're in dusty conditions or you're in foggy conditions, you're sure and certain you're going to be seen. More marker on the rear is better, and that's something that just for me comes back from the good old days of working up in Aspen and Vail, and the tourists up there were idiot drivers, and now I'm living here in Utah where it's a land of retarded drivers. People are crazy here. But yeah, all my lighting's back to where it was except for this one. I've got a break in between because it's on that same line, so there's got to be a break in there somewhere. So I'll have to tear that apart on another day. Today I'm beat down hot. Didn't get up to 100 today, but it's in the 90s for sure. So you can see I've got it all loomed up, including a piece of loom that goes down in the hole, so it keeps all the wire from abrading. I do have such a big loop there because you've got to have a little bit of slack there for when this rotates down so it doesn't pull too tight and rip your wires up. It's just tied into same circuit as that third brake light, and then the actual license plate lights that were in the factory, so it's in the factory position for that. I didn't really show this either, but I've got loom and rubber grommets and all that stuff in here for the lights that are in to these two parts and pieces. And I did, as you can see, most of them run inside the tube. I like that, keep it all protected, and I don't have zip ties going everywhere. Seen someone do that before and it's kind of ugly. I didn't do that. Alright, you come this far, hope you got something out of it. You can see how to play around with your tube steel to get your wiring where you need it to go, and get yourself lit up so you don't have the UHP pulling you over because your license plate isn't lit up. And then all your brake lights so that you're actually fairly safe and visible to other drivers. Appreciate you watching. We'll catch you on the next one.